All right, so I am back on YouTube. I am posting again. I know some people got used to seeing my videos on a daily, and I'm kind of just gonna go over some of the travel stuff I did and answer like the big question, I guess, that everyone kept asking, which is kind of impossible to answer, to be honest with you, because I don't want to offend countries that are, really awesome in their own right. So but the big question was, which country did you like best? Which is kind of an arbitrary question. And I came up with an arbitrary way of answering this question arbitrarily. So I don't even know if this is worth listening to, but I came up with a score board for answering this question. And I developed it using like a 25 point system. So it's all the first part is based on just cost. The second part is fun and safety. So I kind of those kind of go hand in hand for me. So if I don't feel safe, I can have fun, you know. Or some places are safe, but they're just super boring. So it's kind of like this interlinked thing in my brain. So if that makes any sense, nature has its own category. If it's just for me, like the nature is just really cool, I give it a high score. Culture, I put like diversity of culture and food, and that could mean a whole lot of things. Whether the place is actually like welcoming to different people, um, whether the food is like awesome, or whether the culture is just really unique and super unlike anywhere else. Or they maintained their history for a long stretch of time. So, and last is, I was a tourist. I was traveling to another country to experience these things, and the last category is tourist access and like amenities for tourists. So, all these are arbitrary, and these are all based on my short experiences in each of these countries. So, like, yeah, take everything with like a massive, massive grain of salt. So, yeah, I came up with this whole like list to kind of answer that big question. And to make things even more fun, I threw in like an extra 5 points given to countries that I deem like frontier of tourism countries. They're kind of like not a place that's really on the tourist radar. They're kind of either they're gonna be on the tourist radar soon, or they're like kind of off the beaten path, but they get this status because they're really cool and I think they're worth visiting. And there's probably one that's like shouldn't be on the list, but I felt like it's kind of like a country that's overlooked a lot. So I just wanted to throw that as a frontier country later on. So yeah, basically I came up with this scoring system to answer this question that everyone kept asking me, what's your favorite country? So, and like right off the top of my head, like I would tell people like Norway and Iceland, just nature wise, kind of blew my mind. Those things I can answer straight away. I really thought the nature was unique and really outstanding, and definitely a place that everyone should get a shot to visit. It's just, especially taking the train across from Oslo to Bergen is just one of the great rail experiences you'll ever have. So, and yeah, just moving forward, let's get on with this. It's like I said before, I traveled for 108 days. I went to 33 countries, which is kind of crazy to think about. And out of those countries, 26 of them are brand new to me. I'd never been to these places before, and it's just places that some places I didn't think about a whole lot. The microstates, I was kind of doing the whole country counting thing, going to those places. Some people laughed at me. Like when I was in Italy, my Italian, my Italian friend and like her friends were kind of like, we're having like dinner, and I told them about going to San Marino, and they're like, "Why would you ever do that? That's crazy." I was like, "Yeah, I'm nuts. I don't know. It's part of the journey." So, and I could share that story with you guys. San Marino. Maybe I'll go more into depth later on, but it was definitely an experience, I guess, seeing a new little country like that. Yeah, the microstates. Sorry, no offense to the microstates, but they kind of get a lower score because there's not a whole lot going on. So I apologize in advance. But the journey starts at home, right? Every journey starts opening your front door, whether that's going to work, going to school, or going on a trip of a lifetime. So I am here in New Mexico. If you all have never been to the Southwest United States, we are wedged between Texas here to the east and Arizona to the west. So the Grand Canyon's like right there. And yeah, the big state of Texas is there. And to the south is Chihuahua state in northern Mexico. So we are a border state. We border Mexico. And our neighbors to the north is Colorado. They are a friend of New Mexico. We enjoy each other's company. Colorado's a great state. I will admit that. I love going and visiting Colorado. Even though they're chilly, they have like this little fake chili rivalry. It's not even a real thing, honestly. Like their chili's terrible. So, sorry, Colorado. Beautiful mountains, terrible chili. But I did start here in Albuquerque, and I flew on a Southwest flight to Denver because I couldn't find like a flight to Iceland, which was my first place that I visited. So flew to Denver, and from Denver we crossed America, and then a bit of Canada, and then the little southern bit of Greenland, and we finally landed in Iceland, which is way out here in the North Atlantic. It's the far northwest corner of Europe, basically. So let's zoom in. I landed in, well, I didn't land in Reykjavik. It is the capital, but if you're an international visitor, you will land in Keflavik and take a bus into Reykjavik. But country was beautiful, I got to see the city, kind of learn about the history and the museums and stuff like that in Reykjavik. Got to try the local food. I got to, go to the saunas there, the heated pools and such in the city. And I really enjoyed it, even though it was like, I had one like nice like day where I got to be like super in like wet weather gear, warm weather gear. And then after that, the weather kind of turned, but I was fine with it, honestly. It's kind of cool to experience that looking back. But let's get to it though, like we're in Iceland. I did the Golden Ring and I got to do Reykjavik, and the score overall was, out of a 25 points, was 18 points, which was pretty good. It's solid A. So if we leave here, I mean, the thing that really like hammers Iceland is the cost. It has like a low. It's kind of pricey, but you can find some deals there. It's like you could find like spots that are not too expensive. There's an all-you-can-eat soup place, so if you're like starving and you got like about equivalent to 10 to 20 USD, you can get yourself as much soup as you could handle. So, and it's made with lamb, so it's pretty cool. And they also have like famous hot dogs. I guess I'm going to do a hot dog video, all the Nordic hot dogs, so let's do that as well. So see how they all stack up. So we're going to leave here, and then we're going to score. Let's do this. We're going to go to the scoreboard here. Sorry if I mess up your flag, right? So we're going to rate these countries. So 18 points definitely gets you. And that is Norway. Where's Iceland at? There has to be a flag Iceland on here. Oh, there we go. There's Iceland right there. Alright, I always get them confused because they're pretty similar. So all these countries have the cross on them, the Nordic cross. Oh shoot, so let's put it here. We got A. So we got a solid A for Iceland. Definitely worth visiting. You check it out. It's an intense landscape, and that's what really put the score over the top there. And from Iceland, yeah, I enjoy the nature. I think the culture is really old too, so I gave it a higher score. They have pretty good tourist infrastructure in Reykjavik, so for how small the country is, the population is really small. It's only a few 100,000 people. There's less people in Iceland than the city of Albuquerque, so we have about 500,000 people. I think Iceland has like 200,000 or 300,000 or something like that. It's not very much. It's less than 500,000 people. So yeah, and it's a pretty good sized country. But yeah, that was basically like they had high points basically everywhere else except the cost. That's what kind of sinks Iceland as a destination is the cost, but everything else is really cool, you know. Honestly, if you just and getting out there is kind of difficult, but there are packages on Iceland Air if you're looking for it. So I kind of used Iceland Air and did like they had a layover package where I could stay for 3 days, but my ultimate destination was Ireland actually from Denver. So there's tickets from Denver to Dublin via Iceland Air, which are, I guess, a pretty good deal. Just if you guys are looking. All right, so yeah, I landed in Dublin, and from Dublin, I got to explore the city. It's my first intro. I'd never been to Ireland before, so got to try the Guinness. I didn't do a tour of the Guinness. I guess I could have the Guinness factory or brewery or whatever. Sorry, like my language skills are not the best sometimes. And yeah, I got to go to some museums there, learn a lot about Irish culture and history there, like from the past, I guess, you know. And I took a train across the country all the way to the western part of Ireland to Galway, which is a cool place, cool city, definitely good vibes there. They have like a nice little party scene, music scene. Ireland, definitely if you're like a music person, it seems like they have so many people, the buskers and just people singing. It's just a very, very musical place, and the Irish people too are just great. They're if you're a chatty person, you like to have a good good chat with like random folks. They're always up. They seem to be up for it. You know, a lot of times. You know, it's a good place to kind of just like hang out at a bar and just kind of talk to folks there. You know, it's nice. Sorry, I'm not used to talking so much, so I'm like my throat is kind of getting to me like this quick. You know, I've been talking for 12 minutes now. Yeah, so I went to Galway, I went to Inishmore, and honestly, Ireland, it's not as expensive. It's still an expensive country, not as expensive as Iceland, but same score, you know. So I mean, even though despite like this whole area being extraordinarily beautiful, I think Iceland just has a little slight edge because it's like a little bit weirder. So, but definitely like it's green, beautiful landscape. Like the train ride was great here. I mean, had no issues really. And yeah, definitely would recommend going to Galway too. Galway and go to the islands, Aran Islands off the coast is pretty cool. I definitely want to explore like this whole like west coast area. Just see all these like peninsulas out here, Dingle. I've heard a lot of good things about Ireland, honestly, and like this part of Ireland, and I highly recommend visiting this place. But on the scoreboard, I got 18th score. Basically, had like very similar to Iceland, except the cost is a little bit better. It's still a high cost country, but it's like a little bit not as good, I guess, you know. So not as good as some other places. A little bit cheaper than Iceland, but the nature isn't as like intense as Iceland, so I knocked a point off. But it's similar, same score, you know, same score. 18 points, solid A. Definitely highly recommend. And here's the Irish flag. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to put you there. What the heck? What are you doing? Stop, stop, stop. Somebody hacking me? You're not an F, you're an A. No one's an F. No one gets an F. Everyone's going to pass this test today. So we got an A for Ireland. And let's go back. And from Ireland, I took a flight to London. I basically just had a layover there. I've been to England before, just like this little part of the southeast, but I definitely need to explore the rest of the UK. One of these days, Shannon, if you ever watch this, I've been saving the UK for our trip, so and we definitely need to go there together, explore Scotland, Wales, all that fun stuff. But the next country I flew to was from London. I landed in Malta. So Malta is a little country south of Italy in the middle of the Mediterranean, and it's pretty close to like North Africa. So like if you look here, this is Tunisia, North Africa, and down here's like Libya. So if you're familiar with your geography, and it's like dead center in the Mediterranean. If you look like from here to Israel all the way to Spain here, it's like right in the middle. So it's like perfectly like located for people to, you know, refuel with food and supplies if they're crossing the Mediterranean. But yeah, it's a small country. It's got, I mean, the beaches, the small amount of beaches they have is kind of limited, but it is a cool like culture, cool country. They have pretty good tourist access. The cost isn't bad. It's like average, I would say. The nature is cool. It's definitely like it's just like average. It's like a very it's fun. There's like definitely a party scene if you're a younger person. I definitely recommend going there to go a certain time of year to go to the beaches, party, you know, all that stuff. But there's also a lot of history. The culture's interesting, but I just feel like you get a lot of the similar stuff in Italy and then some. So it's like a miniature Italy, like, but they also speak their own unique language. You know, the culture and like outward presentation feels somewhat Italian, but they speak their own like language. It's similar to like Arabic, so it's cool. It's definitely a really Catholic place. You know, it was the first time I ever heard them play like mass like on the streets over a loudspeaker, which was kind of interesting to experience. But yeah, beautiful views of the Mediterranean, very unique history, unique culture, history. It definitely got like it definitely got a solid A, you know. Malta got a solid A, and the flag is pretty cool. It has the cross of St. George on it because their valiant defense of the islands during World War II. But yeah, definitely like the food. It's a good location if you have like a short amount of time. You're not too big on there. There are beaches there, but if you're kind of want like a little mini taste of kind of Italy, I'd say go there, pop in there, and maybe mash it up with Sicily, or go spend a few days there from Sicily or something like that. That'd be a good little trip, you know. But yeah, definitely a good spot to visit. You know, I definitely recommend it. The next country I went to was I took a flight right from there. There's cheap flights because guess what? Sicily is only like 50 miles from here, so I was able to fly to Catania, and I wanted to go see Taormina because it's been all over the place. So I had been to Sicily or Italy. This is my first time in Sicily, in this part of Italy, in southern Italy, and I was really like excited to come and visit this place because I've heard so much about Sicily, the history, the food, just everything, and it's an outstanding place, honestly. Like Italy, I'm gonna give Italy its grade now. You know, honestly, Italy is S tier country. There's just so much diversity. You know, you could go to the Mediterranean, great Mediterranean beaches all over. It's a massive country, so much culture, history. It's like in the center of Europe, so it's a great location. It's interconnected to everything, tourist amenities. So altogether, I think what knocked it down a bit is it had like average cost, and it has great tourist acts, but it's not like the best, I guess. You know, I don't know. There's some places that are a little bit difficult to get to. You know, there's parts of Sicily is kind of rough to get to. You know, when I was trying to get to San Marino, it's kind of a pain. It does have a slight annoyances to travel, I guess, because it is kind of a very long country and mountainous. But overall, it's still got a solid 22 points, you know. So if we go here, we'll throw Italy on, and it's like basically a vacation on its own. So we got the Italian flag here. Sorry, I mean it's definitely S tier country. You know, you could spend your whole time in Europe in Italy. It's like one of those countries. It's like a world upon itself, honestly. So definitely recommend going to Italy if you ever get a chance. It's cliche, honestly, but it's cliche for a reason because it delivers. You know, people are great, food is great, it's fun, great beaches, skiing, culture, just everything, clothing, fashion. It's got everything you want. Even if you're like a car person, if you're like a weird like if you're crazy about cars, you go there. There's like racing. I don't know, just yeah, just different things. People, they love motorcycles there. It's just a cool country, you know. It just has a little bit of everything. And now I think it's a big hot spot for retirees. They got like those €1 house schemes. If you want to like fix up a house there, they got those deals. And so basically from Sicily, I took the train, which is really cool. So I crossed the Straits of Messina. So if you look here, there's no bridge. So they load the trains up on a ship and you cross from there. And I took, which is an experience. And I don't know if my video did it justice, honestly, but I have a video of it. So if you're interested, go through my videos and you'll see like the most beautiful train trip. I think I labeled it something silly like that, but it's pretty cool. And from there, you could see these like cool islands here. One of them's like this really steep volcano that pops out of the Mediterranean there. It's really neat. So I went all the way across the southern bit to Bari, and from Bari I took a ferry to um, this northern part of Greece. It's called Igoumentia, right here. So I crossed on a ferry, like an overnight ferry from Bari all the way there to here in Greece, and then I ended up taking like a bus all the way to the border here to Albania. And from there, there was no transport. So one of the few times I actually took a car. So it was like here at the border, and I took a car to Saranda here in Albania. So this is my first time in Albania. I love Albanian culture. I was stationed in Kosovo in 2011, and yeah, we got to work with like Albanian people there. I got to learn a little bit of the language. The food's good. People are super friendly. If you get a chance, yeah, visit Kosovo, visit Albania. You know, even though this is my first time, I definitely loved my time in Albania. To be honest with you, it's just the costs are great. It's not as it wasn't the cheapest country, but it's definitely like on there for sure. So yeah, definitely like good time. Saranda, there's great beaches in Saranda, and also from Saranda I took a bus all the way to Tirana, and then but my score of Albania, the initial score is 17 points because they don't have like a super built up tourist like amenities there, and the diversity, food, culture, I gave it 4 points roughly. So I think it was like altogether, I think it got 18 points. It was solid A, but and the cost was good, but not the best cost. They have good prices there. It's fun, but I think the whole thing was like it is still like kind of if you're part of certain marginalized communities, it definitely might struggle there. It's definitely not a place you can be super open about who you are if you are there. So that kind of knocked off a few points. The nature there was stunning. So altogether, I had 18 points, but I'm giving it another 5 points for the frontier status for sure. So definitely 23 points for Albania, and that's gonna put it all the way to the S tier. So, and also the flag that puts in the S tier. It's got the S tier flag. Look at this flag. It's like a black double-headed eagle on a red flag. It looks sick. Just a cool flag. Sorry, I could talk about Albania for ages. Then from there, I took the bus from Tirana all the way to Kotor, Montenegro, which is a cool town. It's like, so this whole fjord system connects Kotor to the outside world. It was a place that was once ruled by the Venetians. So yeah, it's like basically Italian-speaking people used to live there back in the day, but nowadays it's like a cool it's like a cool little fortress town, honestly. And just like the bus takes you all the way around here, so when we were leaving Kotor to head to Bosnia, you'll get to see like these great views the entire way. I mean, getting there, honestly, the views were great. Just coming in from like this part of Albania, this area's not the best, but it still has good views too. But then just coming up these mountains here, it's just a beautiful country. And also, it's kind of like I think they do have like a pretty developed tourism on the beaches here. They have some pretty nice beaches, but like the rest of the country is kind of like open. You know, you could go camping, hiking. There's loads of mountains out here, so I think it's slightly off the beaten path. I'm gonna give it frontier status, but initially I think I only gave it 14 points. But with the frontier status, the extra 5 points, that pushes it from B to A for sure. So Montenegro is a solid A because it's like definitely off the beaten path. You have more of the country to yourself if you like avoid the super tourist beaches. So definitely Montenegro is definitely a place to go to try and check out, you know. And the next country I went to, so now I'm kind of all the places I'm going to are interconnected. I didn't really take any flights till the very end of my journey. So, but this part of Europe is not super well connected with trains. So I was using the Eurail pass. I started using the Eurail pass when I took the train from Sicily all the way to Bari, and then I used it to take the ferry. So they give you like ferry discounts too. So it just depends. The price could be like 20 to 30 to 40% less using a Euro pass. So there's different deals. I'm going to do a video on the Euro pass like after this, but this is just answering the question of ranking which countries are cool and just my experiences with them. But yeah, definitely Bosnia though. It's just it's like a triangle shaped country. So if you look at it, you got one side here, one side there, and just crazy geography because it looks like it should have a ton of coastline, but all this is actually Croatia, and they only have like this little tiny bit of coast. And I kind of like leaving there, I got to see like this area here, so I didn't get to go by Neum. But my ultimate destination was Mostar here, and I went to Mostar and I saw sites around there. And you know, there's like a whole waterfall complex here by outside of Medjugorje. I went there to go see like what's going on there. There's people that say they see sightings of like the Virgin and stuff there, but like this whole landscape and the food, like everything's really like, and the history, like with the war, the 90s, it's pretty intense place, honestly, just like visually stunning place, really beautiful. And I think altogether gave it a rank of 17 points, so a little bit more than, it's got great cost, you know, but the fun and like the safety kind of brought it down a bit. Nature, not quite on the rank of like a Norway or Italy, but it's definitely high. It's a super cool place. Um, Definitely very diverse. The only thing that like really knocked it down was like the tourist access. Definitely, it's you kind of have to pay for like renting a vehicle or hiring like a driver to get you around a lot of places. I feel because it's kind of difficult to get around Bosnia, so that's what kind of knocked it down a lot. So, but it's also getting awarded the frontier status, so that pushes it from like an A tier to definitely like an S tier because I want more people to go off the beaten path. So it's definitely like you should check out Bosnia and see what it's all about, you know, get a feel for it, you know. Places like Bosnia definitely need probably more investment in them. So it definitely went from like an A tier and it went to an S tier for sure, just based on the whole frontier status thing. So it went from 17 points to 22 points. So any country that's above 20 is going into the S tier. I know people are surprised Bosnia, but I mean once you see the blue waters, like that'll blow your mind, honestly. Maybe like people are gonna be like, you just like grade and inflated all these countries. You're just giving everybody a good grade. I'm like, sorry, everywhere's cool. You know, I don't know. And then from Bosnia, I went on to Croatia. I mean, just endless coastline. I ended up in Split. and then I took the train from Split to Zagreb, and yeah, this whole it was amazing. Honestly, like Split, the Croatian coastline is like a wonder of the world. Honestly, I ended up giving Croatia a solid 19. I think the thing that's kind of holding it back maybe is the coffee. I don't know. It's like sometimes it feels like a deal. Some places it just seemed very like kind of. I mean, it's still a good grade. 19. It's solid. It's a solid place to visit. It's definitely go to Croatia. Honestly, 19 points. I was gonna throw it up there. I definitely was. I had a good time in Split. I had a good time in. Let's see where the flag is. I better have a Croatian flag. Oh, there it is. It's like has a checkerboard. I always remember Croatia checkerboard. Um, yeah, Zagreb is good to learn more about like the history and culture. They have all the museums and stuff there. So I went to like a really cool museum to learn about like the ancient folklore of pre-Christian Croatian people, which is really interesting. The Museum of Lost Tales. So if you ever get a chance to visit Zagreb, definitely go there. Pop in for like an hour, 2 hour. I don't know. You kind of get lost in that place. Like those stories are pretty cool, pretty interesting. But yeah, from Zagreb, I went to Ljubljana. I took a quick train there, and yeah, like Slovenia is just a really chill place. It's kind of calming, honestly. It's kind of a place you would like go to Ljubljana if you want to just like drink coffee, have a chill, afternoon pint. Right? It's a place you could probably like write a novel. Honestly, it's just really calming place. It kind of gives you like a zen zone to me. I don't know, but it also is kind of just middle of the road everything. It just averaged out to me. It's got a small coastline here. It has some beautiful mountains, great food. It was just kind of like blended into the rest of the area, though. So it got about 16 points roughly. Solid A. Slovenia, solid A. Definitely recommend visiting Ljubljana for sure, and definitely there's some good hiking and stuff around there. So if you're into mountain hiking, go visit that place too. So, man, my ears are hurting a bit. Let's find the Slovenia. All right, this is what's going to get me crucified. I have to remember Slovakia and Slovenia. They have very similar names and similar looking flags. So these are the two flags. So I believe this one is Slovenia. So you can, yeah, I might get crucified after this. People are like, what's wrong? You got the flags wrong, dummy. All right. And then from there, I already talked about Italy. I came back and I loved Italy so much. I spent another 2 weeks there. I went to Trieste. I guess I missed Venice. I had to go check it out. But my ultimate goal was to get to San Marino. I got to stop in Bologna for a night. But yeah, I didn't even stay there. I had to stay in Rimini, and I take like a bus to San Marino and back. So, but San Marino's a small country. You know, it's like a few miles across. It's mainly this hilltop here, and that's where everybody goes. This is like the historic San Marino. Is this like hill here? So if you look at it from here, this is it. This is like the place everybody visits, where all the views are. So if you come visit San Marino, this is the place you're gonna come see. So it's definitely like where. Oh, shoot. Yeah, it just looks cool. I basically hiked all the way across the top of it. But I pretty much saw everything within a few hours. I saw all the museums I wanted to see. I hiked across this whole bit. I took all the photos I wanted to do. And that's what kind of gives it a low score. It's a small country. Sorry, the culture is not that different than Italy. It does have its own unique history, but poor San Marino, I'm going to give you probably one of the lowest scores of this trip. So you get 10 points, It's definitely, unless you're like trying to visit every country or you're in the area, there's probably no reason to come visit the place. Pretty much everybody's going to I'm probably not going to be welcome in San Marino again. So all the people listening to this, what can I say? It's just like, You guys gotta vouch for me if I ever try to get back into San Marino. But that gives it one of the lowest scores, so it's down here, you know. It's not a B, it's like a C, you know. Sorry, San Marino. Do you have a interesting flag? But you're down here, C. Sorry, apologize. I did my day there. It was fun. It's cool. Some great pictures. Watch my video on San Marino if you can. But yeah, it's small. You know, what can I say? You know, you get your coins, you get your stamps, and you kind of leave. So, and then from there, I visited a friend who lived up here in northern Italy, Turin, which is like a cool part of Italy to visit. It's like off the beaten path. I feel there's not a huge amount of tourists who live here. Definitely a cool place to go. And from there, I kind of took a train all the way down here to the coast to visit the country of Monaco. So I didn't stay the night in Monaco. It's too expensive, so I stayed in Nice, so the neighboring French city here. It's kind of funny. So I basically took the train to Monaco to visit. Luckily, as part of my pass. But yeah, Monaco is pretty small. It's basically it right there. You see the little lines around here? It's like not even like a mile across from like there to there. And it's like half the country seems to be just like a port for rich people's yachts. I did go and I did look up something that's, you know, kind of interesting. I went and checked out the Oceanographic Museum, which is they had a kind of cool ruler of the place. Uh, I think they call their rulers like princes. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I think they're just princes. They're not full on kings there. But if you get a chance, visit the Oceanographic Museum. It's just like located right here, and you got great views. It's a good place if you have kids. A lot of people come here to go watch, like they turn the whole place into like a giant racetrack for like, so it's kind of crazy to think about. So there's like the Monaco Grand Prix and all that. So that's basically the country. Is just this little town here, you know. So there's not much to see or do, unless you're wealthy and you like to just spend money. Go to a casino, I guess. Go get in a yacht, do a little that sort of thing. But if you're average person traveling who doesn't have that sort of funds, you know, or if you're like on a low budget, you just pop in. I think that's like, I felt like I got a good deal just checking out the Oceanographic Museum. But yeah, there's not much to it. So I also gave it the same score as poor San Marino. So Monaco, San Marino, you get the same score. So this is also a confusing one. So Poland and Monaco have a very similar flag, except they're kind of reversed. So this is the Monaco flag. It's red on top, white on bottom. I actually have to write this down so I don't confuse it. But yeah, definitely down there. Sorry, you gotta see. Sorry, Monaco, you're not doing too hot. It's just you're not built for ordinary people, you know. What can I say? All right, and since we were located in, I basically based myself in France, so let's get to France, you know. France, great country. I was in Nice, and I took a train all the way to Barcelona, which was like a grueling nightmare. Don't ever do that. And then after that, I went to Toulouse, and I went to Lyon. So, yeah, this France. What could I say? It's a beautiful country. It's up there, you know. It's got high marks and everything. I think it's slightly above average in cost. I feel though than Italy or Spain. I think Spain's actually cheaper. I think Italy is probably a solid average amount of like expense. So yeah, definitely France. It's got 22, you know. Everyone wants to go to France. It's got great amenities. It's got everything is beautiful. The only thing that's bringing down the score is the cost. And yeah, just learn, you know, French culture is everywhere. It's a great country. I know a lot of people hate on France, but I've always had a good time there. I mean, yeah, definitely solid S tier country, you know. France, of course. Everyone wants to go there someday. And then after that, I went to Barcelona for the first time. I'd been to Spain before, so I could really comment on Spain. Guess what? It's an S tier country. It's probably like if you had one country to visit in Europe, if I had one country to live in or visit, it's always between Spain and Italy, of course. Maybe I'm like cliche person, but Spain, I'm gonna put you right there next to Italy. Definitely, these are my rank. I'm gonna rank them within the ranking. So these are my. I don't know. I'm gonna leave Italy as like the number one spot right now. As far as like the S tier countries go. But yeah, just Barcelona, had a great time there. La Sagrada Familia is amazing. Everybody should see it. It's like no building or cathedral I've ever been to felt like that. I didn't know humans could build stuff like that, to be honest with you, but that was basically how I spent my time in Spain here. But I also did the Camino de Santiago in 2024, so I know. And it was like actually my first foreign trip was to Spain in 2002 with my grandmother. So we went to Madrid and all of like the cities in southern Spain, Seville, Cordoba, Malaga, and Granada. So I also got to visit like the Gibraltar as well. So even though it's not Spanish, it's part of the United Kingdom. I'm not ranking Portugal on this trip. It wasn't on there. Sorry. Portugal is a great country. I didn't score you, so I can't comment. But the next country, the reason why I went to Barcelona, besides the Sagrada Familia, was to get a base to go to Andorra, which is a country here in the Pyrenees. It's like wedged between France and Spain. Honestly, like it's hard to even look at a map because it's kind of like this little. It's basically like two little mountain valleys, and there's a bunch of mountains. It's visually stunning, honestly. It's got a couple of higher marks than Monaco and San Marino for being a microstate, just because I think the mountains and stuff like that make it more beautiful. Also has like tax-free status, so shopping and stuff like that is actually like somewhat affordable. So if you're like a shopaholic, that's a place to visit. I guess it's the perfect place if you're a shopaholic hiker or skier. It's the perfect country for that. It's definitely like a place to visit if you want to get your outdoors fix. Done in like a safe, small environment, but it has a lot more to offer as far as going out, like outdoors activities, than both Monaco and San Marino for sure. And yeah, I don't, other than being small and like the culture, like really similar to a neighboring like part of Spain, Catalonia. It's like the Catalan culture is very strong there. I don't know. It's a cool place. I definitely think it's like, especially now, like if you're in Europe and you just want to get out of the heat, that might be a good spot to visit. You want to go get your like shopping fix. Definitely a good spot to visit. So I'm gonna definitely put it in the B tier though. It's ranked a little bit higher than the other countries. Shoot, honestly, I don't even remember what the flag is. I think this is the Andorra flag. Yeah, this is the Andorra flag. So solid B. Good job, Andorra. You beat your microstate counterparts there by a little bit. So, all right. From there, I already did France. Now I'm going to Switzerland. Oh my God, this place is outstanding, beautiful, efficient. I was in Geneva. Geneva actually was one of the roughest cities in Switzerland I've been to. It was the first place I saw like homeless people, cops, like arresting people, arresting pickpockets. The first time I seen a pickpocket get arrested, so that was interesting, I guess. But it's still beautiful. I mean, the Geneva, like especially once you take the train out of Geneva to Lausanne and then to like the other parts of Switzerland, it's just gorgeous country. Water super clean. Everything's, I don't know, it's just a super nice country. So Switzerland ended up actually scoring kind of low though because it costs so much. It's definitely the most expensive country, and they don't care about trying to make it cheaper for tourists. I don't even think they care if tourists come there or not. They know like people are gonna come there. They know people are gonna spend money there, and so if you're on a budget, this is a place that might break your budget. So just FYI, it's definitely if you're on a budget, come for like maybe a couple days, or maybe there's like cheap packages for like hiking and stuff like that. If you're into hiking, I think this might be a place to do that. I don't know. I'm kind of interested in doing like a hike of Switzerland for sure, but it definitely got a lower score because of the cost. I didn't even give it a point for cost. It was just like crazy expensive there. Great tourist access though. That's like runs like a clock, So I got 16 points overall. Very diverse culture. They speak like 4 nationally recognized languages there. You got French, you got German, you got Italian, and you got a more obscure language, like a Latin-based language called Romansh, which is spoken in like some mountains in the southeast part of the country. So it's a pretty diverse place. Definitely gives it a solid A. Still, even though it's like an A minus. So Switzerland, you got an A minus. You're just beautiful, a beautiful place. Solid A minus. Okay, now we are headed to another kind of microstate, Luxembourg. So let's check out Luxembourg. I guess I could have talked about Germany, but we'll get to Germany soon enough. So I did stay in this part of Germany. I went to Freiburg, and then I had to go back to France. I heard about Strasbourg. I wish I dedicated more time. Like Strasbourg, I need to go back to. Sorry, I am. But then part of the whole country visit thing was Luxembourg. I only dedicated a day here to check out the capital city. But I don't know, it's just like the country is most well known for bankers, like banking, and it's kind of got the feel of a place where bankers would be, if that makes any sense. I don't know. So ultimately, Luxembourg got a really low score. The cost is expensive. It wasn't too fun, I guess. I know there's some like caves and stuff to explore. The nature is kind of this like basic forest and kind of, I don't know. It wasn't anything to write home about, And they have pretty good tourist access if you want to go there. I mean, the public transit in Luxembourg City is free, so there's that. So ultimately, Luxembourg didn't leave a huge impression on me, but I think the whole cave system would be kind of cool to explore. That's the one thing I think would be interesting to go back for. So that's kind of intriguing me for Luxembourg. If I ever go back, I want to explore the cave system within the city. But you did get a low score, You did get 12 points, which gives you a solid B. Throws you down there with Andorra. So let's get the Luxembourg flag. Luxembourg has like it's a boring flag too. I think it's this one. It's basically like the Dutch flag, but light. All right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I apologize. I think this is the Dutch flag. Yeah. Okay. All right. Luxembourg is a B. So sorry, Luxembourg. And then from Luxembourg, I took the train, which broke down. I'll get to that in my next video. And I went to Brussels. And yeah, I mean, Belgium's cool. Then after that, I went to Bruges. Brugge, as they inform me the locals call it, because they speak Flemish there, or Dutch, I guess. So Brussels, Brugge, both cool places, definitely worth visiting. High scores, definitely great tourist access, diversity, culture, people from all over Europe and Brussels, all over the world. Honestly, you get food from anywhere. The food in Belgium's like very rich and hearty. If you like all the best things in life, like you like your fries, you like your beers, you like your chocolates, you like your waffles, Belgium has them, so go visit Belgium if you like those great foods, Nature's kind of mid. Got some points knocked out for that. It's fun, it's safe. Cost is kind of in between, so it's not the most expensive, it's not the least expensive, it's just in the middle. So but it's definitely worth visiting. I had a good time in Belgium. Definitely 19 points. That puts you on the solid A. Like, not quite an A+, but you're definitely a solid A. Alright, we got Belgian flag there. And then let's move on to Germany next. Germany, I'm just gonna give you a 19. You know, you like a, let's go through it. Solid country. I think what's holding you back is your train system right now. It's late all the time. Cost is middle. It's more diverse. I don't know. I think the only thing that's like killing Germany is it doesn't have a Mediterranean coastline. You know, it doesn't have super nice Mediterranean beach access year round. You know, whereas the other places do, like Italy and Spain. That's what kind of puts them over the top. Italy, Spain, and France. That puts them as the S tier level. So where's the German flag at? That's right up here. So German, you're definitely a country for sure. Yeah. Oh, wow, I just jumped into Germany. I skipped poor Netherlands. So Netherlands also neighboring country. So I went from Brussels and I stayed in Rotterdam and I visited like a town called Houten. Where's the? It's right here by Utrecht. So both those places, Netherlands, you're gonna have a good time there. Honestly, I had a great time in the Netherlands. Where's Houten? Shoot it. Oh, it's right here. Yeah. So this town is like the bicycle mecca. This town of Houten, was built for bikes. So if you ever want to see how good bike infrastructure looks like, visit this town. It's built for walking. It's built for people with disabilities. It's great. Honestly, I wish every town was built like this and would have a super safe, beautiful society. But yeah, I love the Netherlands. Definitely, I gave it pretty high points. Also, 19. It's got an A. You know, the Netherlands, a country. You know, oh, confusing. Shoot, they grabbed the wrong flag. It's got the red on top. I almost grabbed the Russian flag. Ugh, that'd be I'd get I'd get butchered for that. So we got Netherlands up there. Yeah, Rotterdam too. It's a great place. You know, port city. You like to see boats. Great time to party. Yeah, Germany though. I went to Freiburg and Hamburg on this trip. I've been all over the country. It's I don't know. Germany's cool. It's definitely got every type of environment except like the Mediterranean environment. The food's pretty good. They have different types of. I mean, if you love sausages, this place is the country has every type of sausage you could imagine. Bread, mustards, you know, that sort of thing. It's good food. The bread is really nice. All over Europe too. You know, they have really good bread everywhere. I went to Denmark after that. Took the train there. Train actually broke down once we crossed the border, which is kind of sad. Kind of set us back like an hour or two, but I got to Copenhagen in time. So I went across here to Copenhagen, and from there, I I guess though one thing that's really holding Denmark back, I think, was like the cost and like the nature, you know. So ultimately, I only gave it 14 points. I don't know. Don't based on my scoring system, basically the cost and then it's kind of just like forest, sandy beaches up in the Baltic beaches. It just wasn't super like impressive, I guess. I don't know as far as like the nature goes. The people are super friendly. Everyone's nice. Um, but I gave it 14. It's definitely like a B score country, you know. The prices were better. That would probably put it up a little bit more. If it was like average price country, it'd definitely be an A score. But that's what's kind of holding it back. And also like the nature. The country's flat. You know, doesn't have a whole lot going on in that regard. But people are friendly. Copenhagen's a cool bike town too. Christiana's cool. Definitely tourist access is great. It's just yeah, it's just a very kind of kind of flat place, I guess, is to describe it. And then it's pretty close to like Germany, all these other countries that have a lot more going on, I guess, which kind of brings them down a lot. Then obviously Norway, you know. The only thing that holds this country back is the cost, you know. I took the ferry from Copenhagen and it went along here up into the Oslo fjord into Oslo, and I went from Oslo to Bergen here. And right in this area is like a giant ice cap, basically, which is really cool. And you get to see all these different environments when you take the train. So it's you get to see so much like in just this one train ride. So if you ever get to take a train ride in Scandinavia, do this one, Oslo to Bergen, best train ride. It's so cool, and just like Bergen's cool. I definitely recommend visiting Bergen. Had a great time there, and yeah, just seeing this stuff is just amazing to me, honestly. And it was nice to be up there, like in the get out of the heat, So yeah, definitely that puts Norway at a 19. I think the thing that's holding it back is the cost, really. So let's get the Norwegian flag. Got Norway down here. Solid A. I'm gonna put you right here next to Iceland. You guys could be twins. Solid A, and then from Oslo, I took the train to Stockholm. And yeah, this landscape was cool. It's definitely different than what I'm used to. I think I hear the term. I've never been to Minnesota, but it's like the land of 1,000 lakes type of. That's what conjured up in my brain when I kind of took the train across here. And I was getting into Stockholm, like the sun was going down. You could see like the sun reflecting and all those like beautiful colors. It was really beautiful train ride in like this area especially. So from Oslo to Stockholm, yeah, that was a really long train. Actually, I took the train from Bergen all the way to Stockholm, which is like a really long day. And yeah, Stockholm, I just feel like they have everything going on there. It's just the cost is high, and it just felt like the nature wasn't as like crazy as intense as like Norway. I felt so I knocked it down a point there, and yeah, I think just the coldness of some of the people there is kind of hard to like get to know Swedish people compared to Norwegian people. Norwegian and Danish people tend to be like chattier. Like it seems like the Swedish people kind of keep to themselves. Which kind of makes it hard to access a place, and get to know the culture of a place. So definitely that kind of knocks a point off. So that brings it down 17 points. Solid A still, So definitely put Sweden if I want to do like for continuity's sake. Let's put you there. Poor Denmark. Oh man, I feel bad because they always talk about Sweden all the time. That's like their national pastime. And then from there, I took another ferry to these islands off the coast of Finland, which are Finnish islands too. So I took to this place they're called the Allen Islands, and I stayed here in Mariehamn. I kind of like hiked around here a bit, and it was cool. It was just a very quiet spot. I just kind of want to see what this place was about. Very like unique geographic features, like taking a ferry through here. And yeah, if you ever need like peace and quiet, Finland, people really leave you alone, but they'll talk to you. Some of the people, some Finnish people talked to me too, so it was cool. I met some Finns actually in Estonia. Was it? I think it was Estonia. No, no, it was in Riga. I met them in Riga, and they're super friendly there. But yeah, I went to Turku, and from Turku, I actually stayed on a boat here in Turku, which is fun. And then from there, I went to Helsinki. So I took the train from Turku to Helsinki. And overall, I mean, if you look at the location, it's like kind of hard to get out here. I think that's what kind of knocked the points down. If you're trying to get to Finland, it's kind of, you have to go from another place in Europe to there. I don't think there's too many direct flights to North America, other parts of the world. So, and it's next to Russia, which is kind of like doing weird stuff these days. I'm not going to get too much in the commentary. I'm going to mention it when I go to these other countries as far as safety and stuff goes. But I mean, Finland was definitely fun. It's definitely safe. I think what knocked it down is the cost. It's very expensive as well. So definitely same as Sweden. So you got 17 points there as well. So I will put Finland up there. Oops. No, F. It's F for Finland. No. Finland, you get to be here next to Sweden. All the crosses are next to one another. And let's see. Yeah, I mean, I had a good time in Helsinki and stuff like that. It wasn't bad. So, and from there, I took a ferry from Helsinki to Tallinn, Estonia. And Estonia is a really small country. It's like just I think it's like 1.5 million people live there. And yeah, overall, I mean, I had a good time. As a interesting history, culture there. As part of the Soviet Union for a long time. So all these small Baltic countries were all part of the Soviet Union. So the language is similar to most similar to Finnish. So Estonian and Finnish are the most two closely related languages with each other. Um, but as an independent country, it's only been independent twice. They had a brief independence in like the 20th century, and at the end of the 20th century, the collapse of the Soviet Union. So it's like basically between the world wars and after the collapse of the Soviet Union was Estonia independent from its Russian neighbor. But yeah, it's a beautiful country. It's flat, green. Um, People seem like to leave you alone there too. Estonians aren't very chatty, I guess. So yeah, that was my experience. Definitely a solid 15 points. So that puts Estonia here, B tier country. It's just hard getting to these countries too. That's the thing. All the Baltic countries kind of got low marks for that. The prices were okay. Mid prices. Same thing goes for Latvia. Latvian and Lithuanian are related languages, but they're kind of. They said they can't really understand each other though, so they're both like Baltic languages, which aren't really related to the other ones. They said they're supposed to be like kind of like pre-Slavic. I don't know. If you're a linguist and you know anything about that, please educate me, because I think I'm just spewing out nonsense right now. But I also gave Latvia 15 points and Lithuania 16 points, so we could throw them both up on there. So we got, where's Latvia? Yeah, Latvia has this weird flag here. It's like a thin line. And we got the Lithuanian flag here. So they're solid B's. I mean, if you put all these countries together as like a trip, then I think it pushes them into the A tier. It's just they're kind of away from everything, and also like when I was in Lithuania, we had a scare. There was like Russian drones that were coming towards the airport and such. So yeah, cause like look how close. Like I was here in Vilnius, so here's Belarus, which is allied with Russia. So Russians basically can just fly over this country at will. So they've been like doing weird stuff, and there's like a lot of the military of all these countries, or like that are neighboring Russia, are on like high alert. And I don't know. It seems like they're trying to like arm the people too. There's like gun ranges open here in Latvia that's open to the public to go shooting and stuff. So it just seems like as a former military person, I just kind of notice stuff like that, and it's kind of puts me a little bit on edge. Do I want to be in a country that's possibly under military threat? Because Russia does have like this little enclave here called Kaliningrad, which used to be a part of Germany, but they kept it after World War II. And it's like basically just like a giant base right here. So it's like wedged between Lithuania and Poland. So yeah, essentially I went from like Riga to Vilnius, and I crossed this area called Suwalki Gap, and we had to change trains here to Polish train. But yeah, this place was super militarized. There's Polish soldiers all over the place. So just FYI, if you're traveling by train or bus to this area, there's going to be soldiers that are going to like check your passport and stuff. So, and that brings me to the great country of Poland. Poland is a very surprising country, honestly. I don't know why I had such low expectations for it, but just I guess it's always passed off as this kind of like bland place, and in American culture, but it's like Poland is really cool. It's definitely up there. I definitely the food, the culture, the landscape, definitely towards. I mean, the area around Warsaw is kind of bland, but you go towards the south, and it's the mountains are really beautiful down there. So, the cost is pretty good. It has some currency. It uses a zloty still. Seemed fun. I think the only thing that was kind of worrying, knocked off a point, was like the military stuff, and also there was like anti-LGBT parades there, which is kind of worrying, I guess. But overall, I mean, it got 21 points by my account. So Poland is definitely S tier country. It's definitely up there. I'm definitely going to put it here next to France. Poland and France, your buddies now. So S tier country there. I definitely want to go back. I had a good time in both Warsaw and in the other place I went to in Krakow. Definitely need to check out Krakow. There's like loads of stuff to do and see there. Beautiful city, but there's like mountains south of Krakow that are cool to check out. So I definitely want to do some hiking and stuff around there one of these days. And then from there, I took the train from Krakow to Brno because I wanted to go to. I've been to Prague before, like disclosure. I've been to Prague in 2011, and back then it was like already full of tourists, and I heard it's only gotten worse since then. So I was like, well, I want to go to a place where there's ordinary Czech people live. So I decided to go to the second largest city, and it was also along my way to Vienna. So I went from there to Vienna to Bratislava, so it was a nice little close area around here, which kind of like made my travel times a lot less, and it was kind of nice. So I was able to see 3 different countries at once. So we could rank all these guys all at the same time as well. So we got Czech Republic. I think I gave Czech Republic, Czechia, likes to be known. It got a high rank. It's a good country. Costs are pretty good, safe. I think the nature is just kind of mid. That kind of brought the score down a bit, but it's definitely a solid A country. Also, Austria, it's got 20 points. I mean, these places have great tourist access. Austria has great nature. I think basically Czechia and Austria, the nature and the cost kind of flipped. I think Austria has like better nature. So let's get the Czech flag here. Definitely A. Austria, you definitely got an A plus. So it's got 19 points for Czechia, 20 points for Austria. Also, I guess I went to the Vatican too. I've been there before. I have a video, but it's like listed. I don't even know how to categorize the Vatican. It's cool for a day trip, but you can't stay there or do a lot. So I'm actually gonna put it in a D, unless you're super Catholic and you're making a pilgrimage. It's just swamped by tourists and stuff. So I'm gonna throw one country in there, D, Vatican. Sorry, I'm getting my Catholic card revoked. So I apologize. But yeah, definitely Austria's a cool place. Vienna's cultural capital. You got these lovely mountains here. Innsbruck, skiing, hiking, all that stuff, all the outdoors you want to do is there. I passed through like when I was coming from Ljubljana to Trieste, it was actually faster for me to go around through there to actually then cross just from here to there. Makes zero sense, but cool train ride. I stopped in Villach, and this area was really cool. But disclosure, I'd been to Innsbruck before in 2004 on like a high school trip. So I had been to Austria before, but I never been to Vienna, so I had to do Vienna. And yeah, Vienna is great. You could spend a week there probably. So there's lots of stuff to see and do there. And then after Vienna, I went to Bratislava, and it's definitely like the capital of Slovakia, and it's definitely like the cultural capital of the country. But it's like bordering like Vienna's right there, so Austria's right there, and right below is Hungary's right here. So if you had a chance, you could go see like the three. You could be on three countries at once right there. You know, probably get like rent a car or something and go check it out. But no, I had a good time. Bratislava was fun. I also I'm gonna award Slovakia because I think it's like people just kind of don't think about Slovakia that much, and there wasn't a. It seems like it has like a lot of people go to Bratislava. They have like this alley where it's just like bars for people to go drink for on the cheap there, or people leaving Vienna. I don't know. They have like that sort of tourism, but I feel like the if you go out to the mountains and stuff like that, there's probably a lot of places that don't have a whole lot of tourists. It's not well known. So I think if you go off the beaten path in Slovakia, you could see a lot and experience a lot of cool culture and see like a lot of great nature there. So I did score it originally 17, but I'm gonna give it the frontier because it's like off the beaten path. So people are like, "Oh, Slovakia is not frontier; it's right in the center of Europe." Blah blah blah. But it is. I don't know. Definitely, I want to check out Slovakia some more. I don't know. There's something about it. Mountains. There's these great mountains right here in the middle of the country. And I really don't think a whole lot of people come visit this place. So people need to go out and check out Slovakia for sure. Bratislava had a great time. Yeah, so a lot to see there. It's kind of hot when I was there, but I mean, it got 17 points. That's gonna put people are gonna like crucify me for throwing Slovakia up here on the S tier. But since it's got the, I think all the countries that get frontier status, I'm promoting Slovakia. You know what, whatever, hate me for it, but I am promoting Slovakia. Visit Slovakia. Go hiking. Leave Bratislava. Do a day or two in Bratislava and go check out the mountains for me because I want to see what those mountains are like. I'm curious. Next country I went to was Hungary. I think the Danube does a lot of heavy lifting for the nature part of the country. I crossed into Romania for the eastern part. It was pretty flat and just farmland. It's got its own beauty in that way. Uh, Pretty decent tourist access. I think you connect a few international places. The cost, it has its own currency, but the cost was just not that great. They finally got rid of Orban, so they're not actively like trying to persecute, you know, LGBT people and migrants there now. So I don't know. I still gave it 3 points because I think people are still kind of getting out of that haze of that. So altogether, Hungary got 15 points, which scores it a solid B. Yeah, so it's solid B. Top. It's a B plus. So Hungary B plus. It's not a bad. It's I don't know. I feel bad for. I almost grabbed the wrong one. That's Bulgaria. Because I think there's a lot. It's cool. It's good food and stuff there. It's just interesting culture. It seems like a kind of insular culture though. And then from Hungary, yeah. So I basically took the train from Bratislava to Budapest. Pretty fast train. Then I took the one of the longest trains from Budapest to Cluj here in Romania. So the next country we're going to review is Romania. And honestly, Romania, whew, on your own, on your own, you got 22 points. Just you did the work. You did the hard work. Cost, you have the best cost. You have your own currency, and I think that really does it for you. Honestly, is just the cost does a lot of heavy lifting. It's really fun. The tourist access is kind of. I think the train kind of knocks a point off, but it's pretty good. You could take a bus. You could rent a car. It's got pretty good road network, so renting a car doesn't seem like that daunting. The nature's outstanding. You got the Carpathian Mountains. You got Black Sea coast. This area is beautiful, hills and farms. It's just idyllic area here around Cluj. Like the train ride to Brasov was beautiful, even though it wasn't like super mountainous, but it was just gorgeous farmland the entire time. And the mountains here, I crossed from Brasov to Bucharest, and it was beautiful. Those mountains are just outstanding. The castles, just Wildlife, there's a lot of wildlife, a ton of birds in Romania. If you're a bird watcher, I think Romania might be one of the better countries in Europe to visit. Yeah, the price, like everything costs. People are friendly. The food's good. But yeah, just I don't know, Romania. Plus, I give it frontier status. It's kind of like off the tourist beaten path. So, Romania, you get not just a 22, but you probably get the high score. So, Romania, you're S tier on your own. Plus, you're getting the frontier status. That's gonna put you up at 27 points. It's giving me the highest score of any. I'm giving Romania. What? That's crazy. So I guess Romania is the best country. That's nuts. Right now, currently, for tourists on a budget, definitely Romania is the best choice. So I'm saying it. I guess right now, based on the, I'm even looking at. I still got a couple countries left. I got Romania. I got Bulgaria and Greece, and Romania definitely has won so far. I'm declaring them the winner preemptively, but let's finish up this thing. So Romania, you did a good job. Except the trains. The trains are the one thing. All right, I'm just giving you a warning unless you have like plenty of time to kill, and it's not in the summer or winter, I guess, because in the shoulder seasons you got time to kill. Take the train, it's cool, but if you got somewhere to go, if you're on a super tight time budget, do not take the trains in this area. Basically, once you leave Budapest east, do not take the trains because you don't know when you're going to get there or if you're going to get there. So just FYI. Then I went to Bulgaria. I did a couple days in the capital, Sofia. And yeah, Bulgaria, this area is beautiful. The train came through here, but I also almost died on the train. We'll get to that later on another video. But the train ride was gorgeous, even though the AC was busted the entire way. Yeah, Bulgaria is intriguing. I definitely want to go back. Food is good. The people seemed a bit cold. Like, after coming from Romania, the people seemed cold. So, sorry. Romania set a pretty high standard for friendliness. So, Bulgaria, you're at 19 points. But you do get the frontier status, so that pushes you up to S tier, honestly. The cost isn't as good as... Your cost isn't as good. So, S tier there. But I'd say like these are all in order in my opinion. So as far as like S tier goes, so if you look at well, let's finish up actually. I'll go over the flags and stuff. I'll go over the rankings. And last but not least, I took a flight from Sofia to Athens because the train systems don't interconnect. So basically, if you're trying to get on a train from Bulgaria to Greece, you have to like come here, get off at the border, take a bus across a few miles across the border, catch the train, and I don't know. The logistics behind it were complicated, and I didn't know how good the trains were in Greece. So I was like, I just cheated and took a flight to Athens. And besides like spending a few hours in this little bit of Greece, my only time there was in Athens, and I had a good time. I loved Athens. I love Greece. I want to go back. It's a big country, in maybe not land area, but like if you count the sea, I don't know. It's hard to get around there. It's just like there's a lot of islands and stuff like that. So, but yeah. I mean, it's not nearly as big. It's like I guess it's a medium-sized country, but it seems bigger because there's so many islands. If that makes any sense, but definitely want to check out some islands in the future. Go to Crete, etc. But no, I had a great time in Greece. It basically just kind of like sucked me in to go again, And they've had tourists since the beginning of time, so Greece definitely got a S tier for sure. Good job, Greece. Oops, I didn't mean to put you there. Sorry, you're not a B tier. You're not even an A tier. You're an S tier country, Greece. And I'm going to put Greece probably right there as far as countries go. So there we go. I finished it up, We got the whole map built out. And it's done, basically Romania won this whole thing, which is kind of surprising in my book. Honestly, I didn't expect that. But yeah, out of 27 points. But here are my favorites though. It's definitely Italy. It's definitely my second. Spain. I did the Camino Santiago, so I have like a lot of time in Spain. France, Poland, Greece. Then these are the frontier countries, I guess. We got Albania, Bosnia, Slovakia, and Bulgaria. But Romania actually, as a frontier country, honestly, I want to go back. I missed. I had a French trip lined up, but I had to come back to the States. I could have stayed and done it with them, but just the way things worked out didn't work out, you know. So, but yeah, surprisingly, Romania, based on my own metrics, is the winner. And I mean, I did a thing comparing. I used my scale with the U.S. and based on my own scale with the U.S. with the cost and everything, U.S. is basically an A tier country or a B tier country. I mean, we have really our nature is good, but our tourist access is horrible, and our diversity culture is great, but there's huge patches of the country that have pretty much very similar culture. So that kind of knocks it down. But the thing is like the safety of the U.S. is kind of not good. The cost and tourist access really brings our score down because you have to basically rent a car. There's possibility of gun violence in the United States, and the cost is kind of crazy in America right now. So food costs a lot, gasoline's going up, and you need a car. Like everything's like inflation's kind of raging out of control in America right now compared to Europe as far as like food prices are concerned. Because I noticed the grocery prices in Europe were a lot less than America. So you guys still got that going for you. Cheap food prices and public transport really keeps the cost under control there. But that's it. You know, I got through it. Romania is the big winner, surprisingly. So if you're Romanian, if you're a Romanian person, you met me, just you could tell everybody you guys are on top right now, just based on, you know, how much stuff is going on in your country and like the cost of travel there is a lot less. So yeah, definitely Romania. Go figure. But that's based on my own frontier status. I mean, it'd still be up there. It'd be up there with France. It'd be up there with Spain. You know, Romania is definitely a unique country, and that I think too, just the fact that it has like a coastline here on the Black Sea, which is pretty. They have some like beach towns and stuff to visit. Makes it ideal place to come check out. You have like everything you want. You know, you got mountains to climb. You got beaches. You got city. It's got a little bit of everything, and it's in a smaller package, and it's at a good price. So Romania, if you get a chance to visit Europe, that's a good spot to see a little bit of everything, you know. All right, I have been going on for nearly an hour and a half, which is kind of insane to think about, but yeah, it's done. Sorry, you're getting like kind of like a retro fill video of this, you know. I'm just recording off the computer. I'm just talking into the computer. But yeah, you got to kind of I got to share my thoughts and opinions and my journey with you the whole time. You could argue with me. I'm probably going to get a ton of flack in the comments about which country's the best and why. You're wrong, blah, blah, blah. Sue me. I don't know. You know, this is just how I experience things. Maybe I need to travel some more in these places to get a better feel for them. Hopefully I'll get to do that in the future, and yeah, I don't know. But maybe I'll comment, do a video on places I traveled in the past and talk about them. And yeah, talk about different experiences and stuff like that. But I have a few other videos that I'm going to talk about coming up here. So I really appreciate like everybody who followed me on my journey and supporting me throughout my travels. You know, traveling for that long is crazy. You know, 108 days. You know, living out of a backpack is kind of nuts. You know, and seeing so many different places and things and people, it's kind of fried my brain a bit. But glad to be home. I'm glad to just be able to relax and share all my experiences with everybody. You know, so yeah, enjoy the, hope this video is informative. Probably not. It might be a bit of, YouTube brain rot, but yeah, enjoy. Thank you.